This conference will now be recorded.
So before we get started with the session, I just want to have a quick intro from a couple of people to understand what kind of audience we have for the class today. So just quick introduction from any one of you. A quick introduction, please.
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, Narendra. Yeah,
Yeah.
Narendra, go ahead.
So basically, I am having total 9 years of experience in QA. There
Hmm.
will be a manual part majorly, but I didn't get a chance to work on automation. That's why I'm willing to learn these things.
Okay. How many
That's
years
my
of
future.
experience, Narendra?
That will be 9 years.
9 years. Great. Great. Okay. How about others?
Yeah,
A
hi.
couple of yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, one by one. Yeah.
Can I go ahead?
Yeah, please.
Okay. Yeah, I have 12 years of experience in manual testing, and so I'm working as a test lead, and basically want to get along the automation experience to enhance the skills and looking forward for associate QA manager role. So I think that is required now everywhere. So want to get started with this. Yeah.
Great. Now we have a QA lead and a QA manager of 9 years and 12 years of experience. Next, anyone? Rekha, Sri, or Asha?
Yes,
Yeah.
I was like I'm tester itself, like but in the performance testing perspective, like I'm
Hmm.
working as a performance tester, so I wanted to learn automation as well, so I joined this course.
Great, great, Rekha, Sri. Anyone else, please? Couple more, then I'll jump into the main
Hi,
topic.
this is Preeti. I am
Yeah.
working as an ETL testing analyst,
Oh,
which also
great.
covers a part of functional testing.
Yeah.
I have 6.5 years of experience, and I am looking for a job switch. And I applied for a few interviews as well, but it seems the current trend is they are looking for automation knowledge as well for the
Yes,
testers.
exactly.
So
Exactly. Yeah. So a couple more, please. Last two, three, then I'll jump into the main part. Vrishali, Anisha, Ram, Ankita, Divya, Asha, Amber. Yeah. Yeah, Anisha, you can have a quick intro about
Sir,
yourself,
my name
please.
is Anisha Vishwal and I am a student of first year now, BSc
Oh,
IT.
great. A first year student. That's great. So anyone else? Last one.
Hi, I'm Divya here.
Hi Rahul, this is Ankita.
Yeah.
Ankita, you can go ahead,
Okay, go
Ankita.
ahead, Divya.
Okay, fine. So I am about 15, 16 plus years of experience in the IT. I'm a project manager in a company. I
Oh,
attend these
amazing,
sessions as a
Divya.
refresher because
Yeah, amazing.
I would want to be with the technical part of it because most of my job is more on project management. So I keep upgrading myself every now and then. That's the reason I've joined this call. I've been in the
Nice.
automation tool for more than 12 years now. So I've worked on UFT, Selenium,
Oh, great.
WebDriver, TypeScript,
Hmm.
JavaScript, Playwright. So these are few of the tools that I've worked on for me. Yeah,
Okay, you
that's
have
it.
been into project management most of the time.
Yeah, that's the reason I try to keep
Ah,
in touch with the technical background of.
okay. Great. Great.
Okay.
So nice to have you on the floor. Like having a project manager will understand why automation is very much important, and you can also help me give some facts why automation is very much important in many of the projects. You can also add some
Um,
facts.
I think trainers are always different, right? So I think we
No,
have
no, no.
more.
I'm not. I mean,
Even though we are more
no.
with experience, I think you guys have very good knowledge. Then definitely, Rahul. So that's very
Yeah.
important thing to
Knowledge.
see.
I'm
So
not talking about knowledge. I'm talking about
yeah,
having an automation from a project management standpoint of view.
definitely,
You guys
definitely,
will,
definitely.
you can show some light on why automation testing of is gaining of great importance so that everyone can understand from your words why automation testing is been of that importance.
I think more importance what we could talk about is more, the upcoming AI and automotive
Mm-hmm.
tools. So
Mm-hmm.
it is better the resources align more towards the automation rather than being, because manual testing is always any day you can learn, any day that's the basics of testing, I would say, manual testing or being a functional tester,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Yes.
that's the basic branch of any study kind. But
Mm.
automation testing is the need of the hour for everybody to be on par with the technology and trends, and it makes life more simpler, easier. The ROI is higher when it is automation. So that is the need of the hour. That's what I would say.
Great. Great, Divya. Great. So I'm sharing my screen. Is it visible, guys? Is my screen visible, everyone? You can
Yes.
type yeah, you can type in the chat box or you can just say. So just now we have heard from Divya that why automation testing is important. In addition to that, what I would add is that it saves time, it saves effort, it saves a lot of effort, it saves a lot of time. It makes our work more easy. This is why automation testing is of great importance. And by having automation testing in your systems, it enhances your testing processes. And at the same time, after enhancing the testing processes, it also brings the best of your application. Like how the application behaves in different situations, we can always anticipate with the help of our automation scripts. I hope I'm clear. Or will anyone share their light on why automation testing is so important? Asha, Saujanya, Narendra, Sayani,
To
Preeti, yeah.
reduce manual effort.
Yeah, yeah. So there is a myth always happening in the market. If we do automation, then we need not need any manual testers in the team. How far this is true? Can anyone say? There's always a saying that once your test cases are automated, there is no role for manual testing and they'll be relieved from the project or they'll be removed from the company. This is a myth, I believe. So how far do
So,
you believe it is true?
uh, I don't like accept that concept basically, because whenever a new project will be going to like start their work and like start developing, so the manual testing is necessary, because the
Okay.
automation things will only happen when we are getting the stable rates. The
Yes.
things will be stable for us, and that need not like majorly it will be work on the regression perspective, if I can say. The
Okay.
manual will be always be there for a new project development and other stuff. Yeah.
Great. Great. How about others? How about others? Sayani, Asha, Vrishali? Anyone else? Yes, Nehal, go ahead.
Yeah, for feature testing, definitely we need manual testing because it
Hmm.
is yeah, either we don't have a stable build, we don't have all the things which we need for automation, and mostly for regression testing, clients prefer automation
Yes.
should be there.
It's yes, yes. It's always a mix of manual and automation, and both of the things should work in hand to deliver a quality product to the client. So, if you infer this image, what will be the situation if you adopt a complete manual process versus you adopt an automated process in your project? What kind of analysis that you can decipher from this image? Can anyone tell me? I just want to know your views. That is why I'm asking you more questions so that we can drive the course in that way. Rekashri or Divya or
So
Sayani. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
so can I say? Okay.
Yeah, go
So
ahead. Go ahead,
basically,
Naren.
like I have, yeah, in my experience, I have seen like one thing. In my last organization where I'm working, so I seen like there will be a automation tester who have been like near about 7 years and 8 years, and they didn't that doing any manual things. They are only doing the automation, and during the testing, if they get a chance to work on the manual part, they are not as much able to get the defects and other things other than the manual, because manual point testers will have some of that kind of quality that they have been delivered to find the things into a negative point
Hmm.
of views and other stuff. So the automation perspective may
Narendra, we
they are
lost you.
just trying to like hello, am I
Yeah.
audible?
Yeah. Tell me.
So like from my perspective, I have seen like there will be a little bit of gap into a manual plus automation tester. So manual will focusing on all the aspects, and from the automation they are more focusing on the business part. Like they are trying to like deliver the business only, business logic from their concept or like automation concept. That will be my point of view,
Yeah, yeah.
and
Good, good.
maybe I
Your
am
point
correct
of
or yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you're absolutely right. This is a testing industry and everyone has their own views and most of them will be right. Yep.
Yeah.
Uh, anyone else before we jump into the next slide? Anyone else, please?
Every day the data size is increasing. With manual
Mm,
testing, it becomes difficult to keep track and monitor the data. With automation, it becomes easier.
great, 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 great. Yep.
I would say
So
that
what are the, yeah, yeah.
so
Sorry,
we
sorry.
talk sorry about that. I would say the person we just talk about the gap. I would say the gap will always be there because the both has different perspective. Manual has different perspective than automation.
Mm,
Automation we purely use for regression perspective as of now.
okay, okay, okay. So for the people who are new to this testing industry for the first time, so actually normal testing process is something where a user will sit in front of the system and check whether the application is working properly or not or something like that. So if you want to do the same activity for twice or thrice, they can do that. They can do the activity for twice or thrice. But if you want to do the same thing for hundreds of times, it is very difficult for a person to do that. Eh, Now and again, the same application needs to be tested in different environments, different locations, and also manually testing that application is a very tedious process. So that is why automation testing will come into picture. I hope I am clear, Anisha. Anisha, I hope I am clear. This is the answer for the people who are new to the testing industry and who are confused to between manual and automation testing. If you feel like you are not understanding any concept or any terminology, feel free to ask me and then I'll be in a position to clarify all your doubts. You can stop me anywhere in the middle of the session, then I can clarify your doubts. So coming to this, what are the different advantages of automation testing? Reliability. What do you mean by this reliability? We precisely perform the same set of operations each time they are run, thereby eliminating any sorts of human error. Then comes repeatability. Repeatability means what? Enabling the capability to test how the software reacts under repeated execution. That means if on a phone pay app you have to make a 1 lakh payment to 1 lakh people. That means you have to transfer a rupee to 1 lakh people. So how the application behaves? Will it break down? Will it crash down? Will the servers get hanged up? These kind of testing can be done via automation. Manually to replicate this process, it will take a lot of time and it's a very tedious process. Comprehensiveness. What is the advantage of automation that we get? We can cover each and every corner of the feature, each and every feature of the application. We can build a set of test cases that can cover each and every corner or each and every feature of the application. Reusability. What do you mean by reusability? We can run the same code, same automation scripts on different versions of the application. That means we can run the same automation scripts on the previous month build. We can run the same scripts on the current build. We can run the same scripts on the UAT, like environment. The same thing can be done. Thereby, it reduces a lot of manual efforts. So another aspect of having automation in your project is fast. That means what? Automation scripts run faster than manual testing. That means the moment you write a manual automation script and you run, the execution finishes off in a flash. You'll not even realize how much what is the activity is done in the real time. Then these are the two things that attracts any project managers or any company. Better quality software, cost reduction. That means better quality software means what? We can run more test cases in less time with reduced team sizes. This is the eye-catching point for any company or any organization to have automation testing in their company. Forget about other companies. In my current organization, automation testing has plays some tremendous importance. That means In every project that the company has, it is a mandate for us to automate the test cases. That is how it is becoming of great importance, automation. Second thing is cost reduction. That means when the team size is reduced, then obviously you'll see a drastic reduction in your costs. So these are the two catching points for any project manager or any company to have automation testing implemented in their projects or in their organizations. Another aspect of automation is programmable. That means it brings out the ability to some hidden defects or some product bugs. It With the help of automation testing, we can find some sort of issues like this. Like what can I say? Some hidden issues all about. Like for suppose we all know that application. I mean, whenever we are trying to log into the screen, some animation is taking place. We generally don't worry about how much time the animation takes place to finish. But what we all look into it is that the animation is completed or not. I mean, we all, as a manual tester, we see that animation of the page is completed or not. Whereas automation doesn't work that way. The animation should load within the stipulated amount of time. If it is not loaded within the stipulated amount of time, then it will throw an error. So these kind of small issues or trivial issues can be found with the help of automation testing, and we can report the same to the developers, thereby improving the quality of the program. I hope everyone is clear with the pros of having automation testing in any of your projects or in the company. Akshat, yes, yeah, Akshat, we need to have some coding knowledge, but don't worry, we'll be going through the course plan in the later part of the class. In that, you will see what are the different contents we are covering and how we are going through the course.
Rahul,
Yep.
uh, as you said that we can uncover some hidden issues through automation. So
Mm.
can console errors be detected through automation?
You mean when you
So
open the inspect tab, there will be on the console the errors, right? So
yeah.
recently, Selenium has given a change in their CDP protocols where they use network.tracing. So with the help of that, we can keep a track of tracing the logs and all that we can be covering in the Selenium concepts. I'll give you an example of how do we capture the network logs also. In the recent version of Selenium, we got this.
Okay, so that means we can.
We
Okay.
can, but the efficiency is still yet to be tested because this is still a new feature.
Mm-hmm. Okay, got it. Thank you.
They have given a preview of this, Nehal, in order to be more precise. I mean, what are the other advantages of this automation? So, resource optimization. What do you mean by resource optimization? Whenever we are working for a project, we know that during the development phase, we'll be getting frequent builds on a daily basis or once in 2 days. It is very difficult for a manual team to sit in front of the system and do the software test, I mean, smoke test all the time. So, that is where resource optimization will come into picture. If you have a robust smoke suit, means you can run the test cases anytime you want. Then second thing is greater precision and lower errors than manual testing. That means what? The automation scripts always execute with a greater accuracy and it does not make any mistakes. Whatever the script you write, it performs the same thing for 1,000 times, 1 lakh times, 10 lakh times, a crore times, and it will perform the same operation effectively. Effective test management. This is the point I would like to give some light on it. Suppose you guys are working in project A. In the project A, you have built the automation script right from the scratch. Once you have built automation framework right from the scratch, then what happened after 6 months of time, the company has received another project called as B, which is similar on the lines of project A. That means there's not much difference between project A and project B. So what we need to do, the company requests like, okay, since the same automation is done in project A, we can reuse the same automation scripts in another project B, and with minor changes, we can reuse the same code, reuse the same framework again and again. That is the importance of having automation, which in turn leads to effective test management. Clear, everyone? Is this clear?
Yes.
Any doubts?
Yes.
Yeah. So wider test coverage means more number of complex scenarios. If they're automated, it increases the scope of the manual tester to test other scenarios, find some issues, then create more test cases so that it increases the range of the testing. It increases the scope of the testing. Then this graph is one of the generic graphs. There is nothing to point out to anyone. This is a generic graph. As you can see, how much amount of time that we are saving if we want to do a manual testing versus an automation testing. Whenever we are doing manual testing, the conditions that I have kept while determining this graph is that, like for every test case that you execute, you need to prepare the evidences, you need to attach the screenshots, you need to prepare the Word document, I need to prepare a detailed report for each and every test case. These are the things I put it in place. Now, if you see the graph, you see gradually the time is being reduced on implementing automation testing within your project. It will say I mean, suppose if you say for the full regression, it is taking us 160 man hours to finish the regression suite of 1000 test cases. When you implement automation testing, it will take only 16 hours to finish the complete execution of 1000 test cases. How, why, and all, we'll be going through it later, because in automation we have the concept of parallel testing, where we can execute more than one test case at a time. So in the course we'll be also discussing what is parallel testing, how it is saving of a lot of time, how it saves, how the ROI will be better using parallel testing. We'll be going through all this. So before you all jump into automation testing, these are the 5 things that we all need to remember. First thing, never ever automate a mess. Don't create a mess of your coding. I know at the initial stages, we tend to make mistakes. We tend to make a lot of mistakes in our coding. That's okay, fine. But don't automate a mess when you're sure of what you're trying to do. Make a clear crystal copy of the code of what you're trying to project it. Avoid complex logic in your scripts. In your automation scripts, we should only have the right business logic for the test case only. Don't write some additional things which are beyond the test case unless and until it's required. Don't write unnecessary or complicated logic in your scripts. Third thing, 100% automation is never ever possible. Why? Because automation does not automate capture, automation does not automate audio and video, automation does not perform any image processing, automation does not validate your fingerprints and biometrics. Yes or no? How many of you are agreeing with me on this point?
Yeah,
100%
Yeah,
agree.
automation is not.
Yes.
yes, that is correct.
The max to max you can automate an application is 75 to 80%, provided you have some tremendous knowledge. That is what I'm able to tell you with my experience. Only at the max 75 to 80% of the application can be automated. Beware of automators who don't understand testing. For suppose if we have some new people who are joining the automation testing for the first time and they are lacking some terminologies in testing industry, feel free to ask me like what is smoke testing, what is regression, what is sanity, what is a test case. You feel free to ask me, because these are some basic terminologies you need to know and will help you understand what is those basic terminologies of testing. Because if you don't understand those terminologies, it is very difficult to do automation testing. These are the some fundamentals you need to know from manual testing. If you are not aware of it, please let me know. I'll help you understand what are those terminologies. Fifth and foremost thing, test automation is also a software development process. That means what? Like how developers create a framework, write a code, structurize everything, develop it in such a way that it solves the business scenario, how they prepare a framework, how they prepare the application. Similarly, test automation is also a software development process. We don't have any magic wand to create a framework right out of the blue. We should be in a position to tell the management that it's a development process which initially takes some time, but over due course of time, you can see the benefits or returns of automation testing, or of how it will improve your testing, how it will improve your quality of the product. Clear, everyone? These are the 5 things that we all need to remember when we are jumping into automation testing. Clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Because these are the common questions that any of the organizations will ask you. Like, okay, application is ready. Yeah, start preparing scripts from now on. This is the common thing I always get to listen from the management. Automation testing doesn't happen that way. It requires some prep. It requires some development. It requires some round of internal testing to validate whether the script is working properly or not. There's a lot of things. But the sad part is, if the developers develop any application, we testing team are there to test their application. For our automation scripts, no one is there. We should only write the script. We should only test the script. So all of you are able to see this graph, right? From this graph, what you're trying to infer, guys? Can anyone tell me?
How manual and like downfall under the automation? Maybe that is.
Cost reduction.
Yeah, cost reduction, Vishali, correct. Anyone else? Anyone else?
Can you hear me, Rahul?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the, the moment when we go on, with the build by build, right? The effort is more because we need
Yeah,
to cover the previous build regression and all. If you see the first bar, right, it keep increasing. When
yes,
due to the automation, it is just stable.
yes.
Yes.
How about others?
Actually, for manual testing, we usually not only do the functional level, we also do the reviews, feature level testing, etc. But for automation, once we prepare the script, we can reuse that one.
Yes, exactly. Okay, okay.
And initially the costs look high for automation, but as we progress, then it costs more in manual, and it's quite stable for automation. This is what I could get.
Great, great. All of you are right in your own ways, and it's absolutely right. Initially, we all feel manual testing will take less amount of time to finish the work, but as the days progresses, as the builds progresses, as new code changes comes up, then you see number of man hours for manual testing will be more, whereas automation testing here or there remains the same. Clear? Clear, everyone?
Yes.
Yeah. So, just a moment, guys. Just a moment. So, the next thing is let's see the course plan of what we are dealing with respect to automation testing. That is Selenium with Java. Let us see the course plan of it. I'm sharing my screen. So the first step for automation testing is like our course is mainly on Selenium with Java. So the first step is to understand the basics of core Java. We are only dealing with core Java. That means we are learning the Java that is just 20% of what developers know. We are not dealing with in-depth Java or in-depth we are not dealing the Java at a developer level. We are dealing with the Java that is most essential for an automation tester in the current time for the interviews. Got it, everyone? So what is the first step that we are focusing on in Java? The first core Java basics that we need to know. The basic variable declarations, the string functions, string builder, string buffer, condition statements. Yeah, condition statements, looping statements, constructors, method declarations, switch, enums. These are some basic core Java concepts that we have. Clear? Clear, everyone? These are some basic
Yeah.
core Java
Yes.
concepts. And for the people who are learning the coding for the first time, don't worry, we are learning all the things from the scratch. We are learning all the things from the scratch, right from software installation to the basic code setup, everything we are doing it from the scratch. You will be seeing it how it is happening. Then the second step is arrays and collections. What are these arrays and collections? Because why I'm maintaining a separate focus on this topic is in interview, the major focus will be on your arrays and collections. Whenever they want to ask you any Java questions with respect to automation, they will be emphasizing more on your arrays and collections. And in JDK 21, we got a latest collections called as sequenced collections. And in JDK 21, we got some enhancements for DQ, a new collection. So we'll be seeing all the latest collections that is present in the latest JDK 21 that is present right now, and the different arrays and collections concept. Then the next step is inheritance and interfaces. Basics of inheritance, super keyword, the purpose of interface, what are the different types of interface, how do we use super keyword in constructors, what are the different kinds of inheritance that we have in Java, how do we use them, okay? Then the next concept is the new concept, that is lambdas and streams and Lombok expressions. This is the topic, again, it has some greater importance in the last 4 or 5 months of jobs for automation testing, because prior to 6 months, how they were evaluating the candidates is during the interview process is that they're just looking out for basic for loop and all. Now, some recruiters, some companies are focusing on this lambdas and streams and Lombok expressions so that it creates an effective coding. It reduces a lot of, it does some sort of parallel execution in the coding. So this is of great importance currently, and removes some boilerplate code. What do you mean by boilerplate code? Writing the same code again and again. So we can avoid some redundant activities with the help of these three concepts. Clear, everyone? Is this clear?
Yeah.
Then we'll be seeing different kinds of file operations. How do we write the data to the file? How do we read the data from the file? How do we copy the files from one location to the location? Different file locations. And also we'll be discussing about NIO files. Those are the latest enhancement of normal file concept. Then this is the one of the foremost important topic when it comes to framework building, that is exceptional handling. What is a try catch block? What is the purpose of finally block? How to use multiple catch blocks with one try block? Checked versus unchecked exceptions, compile time versus runtime exceptions. How do we handle the errors at the runtime? Clear? Clear what are the different Java topics we are covering?
Yes.
Snehal, Rekha, Daniel. So these are some fundamental Java concepts we all need to know before starting the Selenium coding. Clear? Clear, everyone? Any doubts with respect to the Java
Yes.
concepts we are covering?
So, like, how are we going to divide the hours? Is it like per topic, per day, or
No, no, no. We are trying to cover the core Java concepts in 15 days. First 15 days, we are trying to cover the core Java concepts. Followed by once we learn all the core Java concepts, then we try to implement the same in the Selenium. Okay? Because if you plan like that, it will take a lot of time for the course. So this course is designed in such a way that whatever you learn in today's class, we will be integrating the same in the next class. Got it?
okay?
That way you'll understand how to integrate things. It's a quick time. Clear? Yeah,
Yeah.
Daniel, tell me. Daniel, uh,
Actually, I
what's your
say that
question?
I am on hello.
Yeah, tell me, Daniel.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, tell me.
Actually, I learn React Native, Android and iOS app. What type of Java I use in React Native? Can I use full type of Java? Some file I use? Please tell me.
what you're trying to ask, can you repeat it again?
What should I say?
Can you repeat the question again, please?
I learned React Native for Android and iOS
Okay.
app.
Okay,
And
this
what
is
type of
completely
Java
into, this is the core Java we are using for automation testing. Only
automation
core Java
testing?
we are,
Yes, okay.
only core Java we are using.
Code Java?
Core Java. Core Java means
Actually, I
the standard is only the Java SE part.
has okay, okay.
Java
Actually,
has two components.
I okay,
Java has two components. One is Java SE and one is Java EE. Java SE is something that we focus on automation testing. Java EE edition is something that we are not focusing on it, Daniel. Okay.
okay, okay,
Only core Java we want for automation testing.
okay.
Yeah. And coming to Saujanya question, yes, we are covering OOPS concepts. We are covering OOPS concepts like encapsulation, abstraction, polymorphism, inheritance. Clear? We are covered inheritance. We are discussing polymorphism in method declaration. We are discussing abstraction and encapsulation in the Java concepts. And coming to second question that Rishali asked, yes, we'll be giving some assignments. We'll be giving you some coding questions to practice, and we'll be discussing some questions in the class also to help you understand how will you analyze the questions. I hope I'm clear, Rishali. Yeah. And Akshat, yeah, you don't know the core Java and that you don't know the basics. It's totally fine. We are teaching everything from the scratch, as I'm telling you. We'll be teaching you right from how do you download the tools, how do you install the tools, how do you do the basic coding and all. So the course is 30 to 45 days, inclusive of Java and Selenium. So I'm not yet done with Selenium part. Wait, guys. I'm yet to cover the Selenium part. Now we are covered only Java. No pre-learning is required. You can directly join the course. Yeah, just a moment. So I hope all of you are able to see my screen. Sorry for the interruption. Yes. So
Yes.
what are the different topics we are covering in Selenium? So the basic intro. What are the basic concepts? So first you need to know how do you set up a basic Selenium project? What is Maven? How we add dependencies to the Maven project? What are the advantages of Maven? How do you use the concept of properties file in Maven? How to use Maven profiling? How do we trigger test cases through Maven? Basic knowledge about Maven we will be discussing at first during the project setup. Then we'll be seeing the architecture. So we'll be discussing about what is the Selenium 3 architecture versus Selenium 4 architecture. What are the different changes? Why we are discussing the Selenium architecture is because the common interview question that everyone will be asked is what is the difference between Selenium 3 and Selenium 4 in terms of architecture? Not only from the interview point, whenever you're scripting the code, you should also know what are the major differences that it has been occurred. What are the different changes that has been occurred from Selenium 3 to Selenium 4? This is must to know for everyone. Then how do we launch different browsers via Chrome, via Firefox, via Edge, via Safari? How do we launch the applications via these browsers in different ways? Got it? There are total 4 ways of launching an application via Chrome, via Firefox, via Edge, via Safari. So I can launch the same application in Chrome in 4 different ways. I can launch the same application in Firefox in 4 different ways. Got it? Got the point, everyone?
Yes.
Then we'll be discussing about window switching and handling. So what are the topics we are discussing? How do we create a new tab? How do we create a new window? How do we launch multiple tabs and windows? How do we switch between windows and tabs and its different operations? And at the last, we'll be seeing how do we launch tabs via JavaScript command. Then we'll be seeing what are the different types of locators we need to use. One is ID, name, class name, link text, partial link text, tag name. So the ones that I have highlighted in red color, XPath and CSS selectors, these are the main locators that we need to spend most of the time when it comes to Selenium. These two are the they are the boss in locators. They are like the chief. They are like the kingpin in terms of locators. If you don't know ID, how to find element by ID, name or class name, link text, partial link text, tag name, okay, fine. That is somewhat acceptable. But if you don't know how to find the elements using XPath and CSS selectors, then it will be a problem. So our major focus will be more on XPath and CSS selector along with other locators. Then what are the other advanced locators that we have? To above, to below, to right of, to left of. These are some advanced locators that we get only from Selenium 4 onwards. Is it clear, everyone? Is it clear?
What are
Any
these
doubts?
locators?
Yes.
Is it like it will
Uh,
pick some value or file?
no, Preeti. Like you know, most of you know XPath CSS selector. Like that, in Selenium 4, we have some new locators, new advanced locators. Okay, you'll be understanding what is what, to the above, to the left of, to the right of. All these are some advanced locators that has been offered in Selenium 4, so you'll understand more what is what, how it will help make your lives more easy. Okay, then what are the different browser actions that we'll be discussing? Click, send keys, send keys via call. How do we use select for handling the drop down? How do we use get text from getting the data from the application? How do we find multiple elements, get attributes? What is the concept of is displayed and is hidden, clear function, get CSS value? How do we find the element by tag name or by area role? How do we handle web tables and grids? Then you'll be seeing what are the different weights, implicit weight, explicit weight, fluent weight, and different custom weight codes. How do we write your own weight conditions apart from the above three? Then we'll also see some actions classes. How do we do a click, double click, send keys, move to element, drag and drop, scroll to element, and different key operations with respect to actions class. Then we'll also be seeing some JavaScript commands, right? How do we highlight an element? How do we scroll the pages? How do we scroll to view? How do we refresh the page? How do we click on an element? How do we enter the data? How do we generate some alerts using some JavaScript commands? Then comes frames, then comes screenshots. How do we capture a screenshot? How do we capture a browser screenshot? How do we capture a particular element screenshot? How do we capture a screenshot using an A-shot library? If you want to record your executions, how do you record your executions using this Monte recorder? Then there are different types of frames handling. How do we handle the frames? By name, by ID, by element. If most of you are confused with what is happening here, what are these terms and what are these terminologies, it is somewhat in Greek and Latin for me. Don't worry, we'll be discussing each and every point in detail in the due course of time. I'm just going through the overall topics of what are the contents we are covering. Clear, everyone? Clear, everyone? Good to go?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So what are the other bonus topics that we need to cover? Shadow frames. Shadow frames is one of the most challenging topics that it is happening in the current automation, because the shadow frame concept is being mostly used in this Angular applications or something like that. And how do we upload and download our files? How do we handle sliders? How do we handle browser related authentication pop-ups? Like when you launch application, there'll be some pop-up coming up you asking you to enter the username and password. Sorry, browser authentication is here. How do you handle browser related pop-ups? How do you accept a pop-up? How do you dismiss a pop-up? How do you enter the text into a pop-up message? What are the different Chrome options, desired capabilities? These two are used to enhance your browser performance. How do we kill the existing browsers via the command line? Okay, is this clear so far? What are the different topics we are covering in Selenium?
Yes.
Yeah. We are covering pop. Vrishali, just wait a moment. I'll be telling you what are the frameworks I'll be covering also. Just give me a moment. So, what are the different, apart from Selenium, what are the different tools we are learning? TestNG. How do we write test cases using TestNG? What are the different annotations in TestNG? How do we create a dependency between two methods? Parameterization, other TestNG attributes, soft and hard assertions, event firing decorators. How do we do parallel testing using TestNG? How do we group test cases using TestNG? Then we'll be discussing a concept of data provider via some hard-coded data. How do we use data provider using Excel, using CSV, using JSON? Then we'll be seeing some TestNG listeners. What are the different listeners that you need to know basically? WebDriver event listener, iTest listener, iSuit listener, iExecution listener, iSuit listener, and all those. Apart from all this, how do you prepare your own listener of your choice? Listener means something like when, like, it's just like when you say something to your parents, they listen to you with open ears. They try to understand and do the necessary activities for you. The same thing we are doing. With the help of these listeners, they'll listen to all the activities that has been performed during the test execution, and once it has listened this thing, it will know what kind of activities that I need to do at this point of time. You'll soon understand how to use listeners. Then comes the cucumber concepts. How do we create a new feature file, scenario and scenario outline, data tables, runner files, preparing the scenario name based on the tags? How do we use parallel testing? What is the concept of examples in Cucumber? Pico container, Cucumber annotations, background, step definitions, hook class. So this Cucumber can be integrated with JUnit as well as with TestNG. So with JUnit, we can see the runner file. What are the different concepts that can be used for JUnit and Cucumber? In TestNG, we can see runner file, different concepts for TestNG and Cucumber. How do we integrate extend reports at a runner file level? How do we generate failed screenshots? We can also generate the failed screenshots using this TestNG also. Then we'll be also covering the different REST API calls like put, post, get, and delete via REST assured and via SOAP. Via REST assured, we can see the basics, the JSON basics. How do we handle a JSON file using this JSON simple library and Jackson library? Then we'll also be seeing what is a query parameter and form parameter. How do we write a sample automation scripts via REST assured libraries? We will also see some basic auth, like basic and digest auth and Hamcrest basics. Hamcrest is used to do some API validations. How do we do all this stuff? You will be seeing in the later point of time. This is a small step-by-step process that we need to follow while doing API automation testing via REST. When you are saying SOAP API testing is used for the projects which are only used in legacy. In the legacy applications only we see SOAP being used because it falls under the WSDL category. If we can do API automation using the HTTP client, and SOAP performs majorly only post operations. And we can also see what is the difference between SOAP and REST, and just a quick intro of what is Ready API. Is this clear, everyone? Is this clear?
Yes.
Any doubts? Then we'll be seeing what are the different Excel operations, how can we do, how do we read the data from the Excel, how do we write the data to Excel, using the Excel operations via data provider, how do we use different cell styles for Excel styling and formatting. Then we'll also be seeing properties file, how do we add Apache Commons library, how do we read and write the data values to the properties file, how do we use this properties file in the real time, how do we create a master slave mechanism with the help of properties file. And also we'll be discussing some extent reports and Allure reports, some basic reports that we'll be discussing in extent. And at the same time we'll be seeing some how do we integrate Allure reports via TestNG plugin and via Cucumber plugin. So what are the different frameworks that we can cover with the help of all the knowledge that we can have? We can develop a data-driven framework, we can develop a keyword-driven framework, we can develop a hybrid framework. So this hybrid framework that is more essential when you combine with Cucumber. Keyword-driven framework, data-driven framework, you can use only TestNG for that demonstration. Clear? Is this clear, everyone? I hope I have answered your question, Vrishali.
Yes.
And apart from all this, there is one more most important thing that you need to know, the basics of Git and SQL and CI/CD pipeline like Jenkins. So what are the basics of Git that we look into it? What is a Git? What is the purpose of Git? Difference between the normal Git and GitHub? What is the flowchart of a Git? What are the different tools that support Git apart from GitHub? What are the different Git commands we perform via CMD? These are the different set of commands that we generally use for Git operations. Then how do we perform the same Git commands via IntelliJ? Yeah. Most of the terms might seem new for you, but don't worry, we'll be discussing about each and every terminology in detail. Then also we'll be covering some SQL concepts. How do we install 3 different databases? Because my favorite is SSMS installation, SSMS database for Windows. Since if you are doing automation in an Apple laptop, then we have to either install SQL or Oracle. Okay. Then what are the different CRUD operations that we discuss in the database? So what are the different SQL commands that we all need to know? From an interview standpoint of view, it's a basic. What is DDL? What is DML? What is DCL? What is DQL? These are the different things that we all need to know. Got it? Then also we'll be seeing through the Jenkins, what are the tools that we require to work with CI/CD platforms? How do we build pipelines? So what is CI/CD all about? It is a crucial part of modern software. What is CI/CD all about is just a quick intro. Okay. So what is CI? So developers frequently integrate their code into a shared repository. So once the code is being integrated, we always ensure the code quality and catch issues early. This promotes a collaborative and quality-focused development environment. So what is CD? It automates the release process, ensure the code changes are deployed to production automatically, reduce the time from code commit to deployment. What are the basic tools that we require? We require Jenkins, Apache Maven, JDK 11 or 17 or 21. AWS and Docker, that is something if we will look at it if time permits. I'm not assuring you that we'll be covering it, but if time permits, we will look at it. Because AWS is something, it's a paid, if I want to have that machine, then I think I might have to pay for the machine. I have to look at for it. And Docker also, if time permits, I'll have a look into it. How do we build the pipelines and trigger in time? So these are what are the step-by-step process that we need to follow. while triggering a Jenkins pipeline. Okay. Then also we'll be seeing what are the different tools for JDBC integration. We can do a JDBC. JDBC means how we can integrate our Java code with the database using with SSMS, with SQL, MySQL, or with Oracle. So what is JDBC actually? Allows you to connect and interact with databases. It provides methods for querying and updating the data. So these are some key components of JDBC. I've just given you here for the sake of information. If you are not able to understand this, don't worry. We'll be discussing all these points in depth again. And again, if time permits, if all the things are happening, then I'll give a quick intro about what is Mongo. What is this NoSQL database called as Mongo? And what are the difference between this relational databases versus non-relational database? These are the topics that I'll be covering over the next 30 to 45 days of our journey. And we'll be using Selenium, we'll be using IntelliJ IDE for developing the code. Why IntelliJ IDE is in the current trend, most of the companies are switching to IntelliJ IDE from Eclipse because it has some great plugins, it has some great utilities which can support the developers to do the coding. If you want to do the same thing in Eclipse also, yes, I can show you how to do the same activity in Eclipse. That is not a problem for me. Any doubts so far? And also, if time permits, we'll also be covering some Playwright with Java concepts. Most of the people have done Playwright with TypeScript or heard about Playwright with TypeScript. But in the next couple of months or in next year, we'll be seeing more opportunities for Playwright with Java and Playwright with Python. So for that, we'll be also having some bonus topic, that's a bonus session of Playwright for up to, where we'll be discussing some basic idea of what is Playwright with Java. Clear?
What is Playwright?
Playwright is an alternate tool of Selenium that is just coming into the market and that is trying to be the competitor, but it's still in the very nascent beginning stages. This tool has been, it has arrived in 2020, but since the last 2 years, this Playwright tool is becoming a hot topic. So I thought of sharing some info on Playwright so that you can also have an idea of it and just you can try to do some POC by yourself. I'll just give you some quick guidance on what is Playwright with Java. Yeah.
What about Cypress? Will you give any?
Cypress market is being reduced day by day because the major disadvantages of Cypress is no frame switching, no switching between the tabs. It's a cumbersome process, and there are a lot of disadvantages for Cypress, which is not suitable for the current trend of the applications. Currently, Selenium and Playwright are the two leading automation tools in open source, where Selenium still leads the race over Playwright.
So I have a question though. The Jenkins CI/CD pipeline. Can you hear me?
Yeah, tell me, Mushraf.
Yeah, I don't know. I need your input. In the current market, people are moving from Jenkins to GitLab. What you can say on that?
It depends again. It depends again how you look at it. GitLab is something, again, it's a paid one. I'm telling you, GitLab, when you're working for free, you will be having some free features. But if you enroll for a paid one only, then you can utilize the GitLab for the fullest. If you are using Jenkins, that's a freeware tool again to do the CI/CD process where you can practice it easily. This AWS integration or GitLab or Azure, whatever you're talking about, the free ones only give a limited time. But when you go for the paid ones only, you can see the actual thing. Because in my company, we work with Azure DevOps pipeline, but I can't show you Azure because again, I have to pay for to the Microsoft, right, to have the Azure DevOps full features. It all depends on how the company's budgets are allocated for it.
Yeah, I do have some mixed and match knowledge, but I'm not getting the right direction. So that's the reason I decided to join this course. So.
Yeah, no worries. We'll discuss everything in detail, and whatever the confusions you have, we can clear it one by one so that you can have a clear picture of what is what in the ground, true sense.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Rahul, one question regarding Jenkins. Is this that topic what you'll cover is with individual Jenkins pipeline creation or with some
Sorry,
concepts of machine learning with Python?
sorry.
This Jenkins pipeline creation, what you would be teaching, right? So it will
Hmm.
be a generic pipeline creation or
We are
it will be
discussing.
for machine learning?
We are discussing a generic one only. Yeah.
Okay,
Ideally, we are
okay,
discussing a very generic pipeline because out of
okay,
all the experience that I have gathered from most of the companies, I'm dealing with generic pipeline. Again, it
okay.
depends from company to company, which I'm not guaranteeing you for that. Okay.
Agreed, agreed.
And Snehal, coming to your point, yes, we'll be discussing some interview questions in the due course of time. And with the help of those interview questions, how you should be in a position to answer them. Those all things will be covering up. And at the last, if you are Asha, I'll come back to you. And at the last, if you are practiced well, then we can have a mock interview of understanding how well you learned your Selenium concepts. We can give a SWOT analysis of where you are good at it, where you are weak at it, where you can be better at it. We can give you that kind of analysis also by having some mock interviews after the class is completed. I mean, after the course is completed. In the due course of time, we'll be discussing multiple interview questions. We'll be discussing multiple assignment questions. That will help you grow better. I hope my question answers you, Snehal.
Yes, thank you.
Hmm. And coming to you, Asha, yes, Selenium with Java is only better because the market share for job opportunities in Selenium with Java is 67%. I'm not telling it. The Selenium survey, which has been laid 2 years back, they are telling that 75% of the market share is in Selenium with Java with respect to job opportunities, but currently it is 67% because Python is coming in. Python is booming a bit, but Selenium with Java is still one of the most sought technologies for automation testing rather than Selenium with Python because of its huge library, vast resources, and it's an enterprise language. Java is an enterprise language. Python is not an enterprise language. Yes, yes, we can upload our disk. Yes, we will do one project, Preeti. Once we do one project, once you feel like we have automated all those test cases properly, we can showcase the same in our GitHub profile, Preeti. If you want to showcase something in a GitHub profile, you need to practice the framework. You need to understand the framework that we are discussing in the class, replicate the same, try to add some of your more inputs under my guidance so that you once we agree that okay, this project is good to go, then we can put the same in the GitHub profile. Got it?
So Rahul, we will be checking in the code and checking out like how
Yes,
the
yes,
developers
yes,
generally do.
yes, exactly. That is what I'm trying to teach in GitHub commands.
Mm.
I want all of you to practice the same with Git, like whatever command, how I'm pushing it, how I'm maintaining different branches, how I'm merging it, how I'm doing it. The same thing I expect you all to do for your repositories. And you need to share, I mean, once the course starts, I want all of you to create your GitHub accounts, create your own repositories, and you all need to share your repositories to me so that I can keep a track of what are the work you're doing. Like once you say that your code is checked in, then I can see what are the things you're doing at it. And even that will be like an easy reference for me. Like when you say that you're facing some issue, I can take that repository and fix that issue for you, or I can guide you on that issue. Clear? Clear, Snehal? Snehal, are you there?
Yes.
Yeah, thanks. And session will be from 9 to 10 p.m. IST, Monday to Friday. Monday to Friday, 9 to 10 p.m. IST. Am I clear so far?
Is it not possible to change the
Yes.
timing like before time like that?
Sorry, Suresh, your voice is breaking. Can you tell me?
It's not possible to change the timing before time, like 7 or 8.
Okay, you can talk to Kumar Gupta sir on this because our standard timing is 9 to 10. If anything of this timings, you can just talk to Kumar sir. He'll be the right person to answer because I'm just here to teach the technical part of the subject.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah. What about cloud of automation? Do you need to learn that, Mushraf? Yes, cloud automation is something that is not a mandatory. It's a good to have. But in order to do in order to do the same testing in source labs or browser stack, again, the free version will offer you only 100 minutes or 80 minutes. If you want to do the real essence of testing, then you need to pay for the cloud app. That will be around $200 per month. You got it? Good to have, but not a mandatory. Anyways, I'll just after the we'll be getting any course study material. Yes, Preeti will be sharing all the GitHub codes, the GitHub repository, and if any commands are there, if any notes are there, then definitely I'll put that notes and I'll be sharing in the group. Good thing that you have reminded. So for the people who have joined today, I want all of your names and WhatsApp numbers so that we can collate everything and share some notes that we discuss. Clear, everyone? I want all of you to share your
Yes.
numbers, WhatsApp number, share your WhatsApp number and your name so that we can collate everything in one group and we can try to broadcast some SQL notes or GitHub notes and all the stuff and in Java notes. Okay. And for people who are joining apart from outside of India, I want your ISD code also so that it's very easy for me to do. Priya, it's very difficult to find your number on the group because many people join, so that is why we are asking you your number. Okay. And if you have any clarifications or any doubts with respect to the subject, you can always get my number in the group description. In the description of the group, you have my number there. And you're always free to ask me any questions with respect to any automation code.
Rahul, mobile testing also covered.
Mobile
Some
testing, we are not covering, Ram. We are not giving that commitment of covering mobile automation testing because that is a different genre completely.
Any recording you would provide, Rahul, in between?
Yeah,
Like
yeah. Everyday
might miss
recordings
for
will be
3 days.
everyday recording will be shared to you via the YouTube playlist.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Once you are logged in, signed up for the course, you'll be getting all the recordings from the YouTube playlist.
Rahul, this API testing part will be just basic, or we will be in a position to work on parameterized calls, or
Yeah. That is what I'm trying to say, Snehal. The query params and form params, what I've given you, that will be more of the parameterization part.
okay.
Okay. API testing is a very vast subject, Snehal. In fact, if you want me to discuss API testing, it will be a separate course only altogether. That vast is the API testing, but we'll see how much we can cover as part of this course. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Mm. Yes. Anyone else? Anyone else with your questions?
Rahul, for the experienced guys, like in interviews, they always look for somebody who has already have work experience. For example,
Yes.
knowledge.
Yes.
So,
Mm.
with no work experience but knowledge, can we still manage to crack
Yes.
interviews?
Yes. Yes. That can be still then provided you practice whatever we are doing in the class. You prepare a framework of your own choice. Once you design a framework of your own choice, you can confidently say that you know your domain, right? You know your application, right? So you can do the same thing in your office project, or you can say like in this, these are the kind of test cases that we are covered in automation scripting. You can say all the stuff. We'll tell you, Preeti will tell you once the course is done. Just we'll give you some small tips of how do you say them in the interview.
Okay.
Once the course is completed, it's very easy for me to say how can you project yourself, like how well you have did automation. Okay. Anyone else? Yeah, Priya, we are showing you how to design the framework from the scratch. After the basics of Selenium and everything is done, we'll be showing you how to design the framework from the scratch, Priya.
Rahul, in the WhatsApp group, I can't find your number. I can't see
Okay.
the name. Can you please mention the last four digits or something? Or you can share
Okay.
in this chat.
Okay. Okay. I'll just drop a message right now. After the session is done, I'll just drop a message. You can see my
Okay.
number there.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I see my number in the group. I see myself in the group description. Can you check the group description, Preeti? You'll get it.
Ends with 200.
Yes, yes, exactly.
Yeah, it's there.
Okay. Got it. It's SPR. Okay. I was looking for
Yeah, yeah.
Rahul, so
No, no,
got
no,
it.
no. My WhatsApp name is something different. I'm so sorry for that.
Okay.
Yeah. Anything else, guys? Any questions? We have still some time to listen to some more questions. Okay. If no more questions, then we can call it for the day, and from tomorrow onwards, we can get started with the real part of how do we install the softwares, how do we do all the stuff. Then we can directly jump into coding. I mean, prior to that, we'll be discussing some tools from Selenium family, followed by tools installation.
Sure.
Got it?
Thank you, Ravi.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Okay.
Thank
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah. If you have not dropped your numbers, please drop your number, WhatsApp number, so that we can create a small group and collate it.
Thanks, Rahul.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Ram. Yeah, Nityan, any questions, any queries? Okay. Nityan is there. Okay, Priya. Okay, Hana. Take care. We'll see you tomorrow.